Hey everybody. I hope you can hear me right now. We're starting. We're going to end literally directly at 5. I have no brain power left today. It's 4 o'clock on the East Coast. So I'm going to do my best to answer your questions and get through all of them. There are a ton of them, and I put them all in a Google Doc that I'm going to share with you. But if you don't know who I am Julia Campbell, and I run my own nonprofit consulting business. I do a lot of online training and speaking around digital fundraising, social fundraising, crowdfunding, social media marketing. And I am stuck at home, just like you are, with my 2 kids and my husband, who is also working full time. And we are homeschooling, obviously, and not going anywhere. So we're all going a little crazy. We're on, I don't remember what day it is, but we're on our 7th week of whatever you're calling it, shelter at home, social distancing, whatever you like to call it. So let's start with the questions, and you can ask questions as we go, but I will give priority to the questions that were submitted. But let me make sure I look in the chat. But thank you for showing up live, and I'm really excited to be here. I hope you're all either not participating or are participating in Giving Tuesday now. Certainly, if you have questions about that, I'd be happy to answer them. If you're not participating, that's cool. There's no requirement. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to put this all over there and shift all of this. Oh, wait, now you're not going to see the right thing on my screen. Okay. So how do we, this is the very first question that came in. How to engage peer-to-peer fundraising when board members have become distracted and busy due to the crisis? Well, you have to give them very specific tasks. So what you can't do is say, start a peer-to-peer fundraising campaign for us. I recommend giving them 2 or 3 options that they can pick from. It's almost like a menu, but you don't want to give them a big menu because that's too crazy. That's too much. I'm just going to have my seltzer. But if you can give them even just 1 to 2 options and say, this is the priority for us right now. We are running a campaign because we need to raise $50,000. Here are 2 things you can do right now. Share the URL in your networks. Number 2, start a Facebook fundraiser for us. Be as specific as possible with everyone that you come in contact with, honestly, but give them their marching orders. What I find happens with board members and staff members is that we often think they're mind readers, or we just assume that they know what we want them to do. But if you can give them the URL you want them to share, or the Instagram post you want them to comment on, like give them specifics and make it bulleted and make it highlighted, and then follow up and then send a second email. And then thank them also. All right, how do we qualify for the $1,000 matching grant? If you're talking about the GoFundMe one, I just had that website up. I'm going to show you. So GoFundMe Charity is different from GoFundMe.com. You should notice that. If you set up a fundraising campaign on GoFundMe.com, you're not going to have as many great features and bells and whistles as you will if you set it up via charity. Also, you're going to have much higher fees because they're going to think you're an individual. So if you go through the steps to register your charity as a charity, you're only going to have fees of 1.9% plus 30 cents or something like that. But on GoFundMe regular, the fees are much higher because they're catering to individuals and to businesses and things like that. So for the match, what happened is that they increased it. So right now, in order to qualify for the $1,000 match, you need to raise money on May 5th, the day of Giving Tuesday now. Now, I don't make the rules here, so please don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you. You have to raise at least $1,000 on GoFundMe Charity on May 5th from 10 donors. So you're going to go here. You're going to go to this website. I'm going to put it in the Zoom chat, or you just go to charity.gofundme.com. Look, you can see, and it's right at the top. Charity.gofundme.com, right at the top, learn more. And then you're going to go to the how do I get started? How do I register? Yeah. So yes, a ton of the money is gone because people set up their campaigns and kicked butt. And I think that somebody forgot to say that it was just for Giving Tuesday Now. I don't know what happens on the back end there. So right now, just focus on, the additional 50,000 that they're giving out on May 5th. And they're not going to give organizations that already raised the money again. So they're only going to focus on organizations and also new organizations. So that's very important. They're focused on new organizations who have never run a campaign on GoFundMe Now or GoFundMe Charity. Okay. Would running this campaign negatively affect my virtual fundraising event later in May? Well, I don't know, but to be honest, I really do think you need to focus on one thing. So if you want to focus your efforts on your virtual fundraising event, why not use Giving Tuesday Now to thank donors and to get them excited about the virtual fundraising event? So you don't have to raise money on this day. Yes, and anytime you ask someone for their attention, it's going to take away their attention somewhere else. It's like putting deposits in a bank, right? So we want to constantly be putting deposits in the bank, which means we want to be providing valuable information, helpful resources, great storytelling, evidence of impact, all that great stuff that we should be sharing with our donors when we're not asking. And then we can take the deposits out because we've already built up this goodwill, this trust, this affinity. So the way I think about it, just in my business, if I launched an online course every other week, that really wouldn't work. People would get exhausted and tired and they wouldn't know which to prioritize. And they would probably be confused. They would say, well, do you want me to come to your event or do you want me to give to your fundraising campaign? So it's completely up to you. But I do think that for especially small organizations, you really need to prioritize. And if you have a small audience, you can't stretch their attention. You can't stretch their attention too thin. However, I am working with KY Gives Day, and what they're doing, this countdown is not right. Oh no, it is right. Okay, sorry. I clearly do not know what day it is. So what they're doing on Giving Tuesday Now, because Giving Tuesday Now is May 5th, and they had already organized this statewide giving day on the 12th. So they called me and they said, oh my God, what are we going to do? Do we need to, jettison what we were doing on the 12th? And I said, no, you've already built it up. Everyone knows about it. It's been on the calendar for a year. So just use Giving Tuesday Now as a kickoff and like a countdown. And then every day for a week, post a countdown graphic talking about KY Gives. So just use it as an excuse to promote KY Gives a week before. And of course, if people make a donation on May 5th, you're not going to turn it away, but just try to use it and leverage it as a launching point. How to craft a message on the heels of an April 15th online giving day. I'm assuming you're talking about Giving Tuesday Now. I probably wouldn't do another fundraising campaign unless you're reaching out to a brand new audience, because have you even had time to talk to your donors about what their money has accomplished since April 15th? So I would probably focus on a gratitude day and calling your donors and thanking them and talking to them on social media, telling them exactly what, oh shoot, sorry, this email, this link that I sent didn't go to everybody. So telling them exactly what their donations went to and what was accomplished by April 15th. So I think it might be too soon, unless it's a completely different project and a completely different ask and a sort of different audience. Because if you've already spent all that time and effort and energy on April 15th, I don't think that it's reasonable. I don't think we could ask you to do that again for May 5th. So it's probably okay to sit this one out, or just do something really small, or do some kind of gratitude campaign or public awareness campaign. Okay. All right. I'd love to learn more about that and the GoFundMe charity match. So I have a toolkit, and I have so many bit.ly links, and I just did a webinar today. Here we go. So I will put this in the chat. It is bit.ly GFM toolkit. You want to go and download this. I don't think it worked. Oh, I'm just gonna, I don't know. Anyway, you want to go to this drive link, toolkit. I'm going to post it again, bit.ly GFM toolkit. So I did a webinar today with them, and we went over the toolkit, and the toolkit literally is specifically how, like, what is Giving Tuesday? I'll just give you a quick overview because it's very long. I don't know why that slide is not there. Why use GoFundMe? You know, what are the benefits? A quick start checklist, how to use the toolkit. So to me, GoFundMe Charity is really best used for specific campaigns. So you can actually use GoFundMe and add a donate button to your website and collect donations year round. You can do that. But to me, I think it's best because people, it's so easy. Oh, I want to support Bostonians in need. This is where I live. I haven't seen this campaign. So we're going to just look at a campaign. Because to me, what you can do is customize the campaign completely. So you can add a header, you can add your logo, you can add the donate button, you can ask people to start a fundraiser. You have that progress bar going on. You can see who's donated. You can put updates. There's Facebook and Twitter share buttons. It's so easy, you know, to share to Facebook. It's so easy to share to Twitter. And then when the campaign ends, you get all the information about your donors. You know, if they're anonymous, I don't think that you do. But as you can see, the majority of people are not anonymous. So to me, for a very specific campaign like Giving Tuesday Now, or a specific project, or, you know, employee relief fund, I think those are really popular on GoFundMe Charity. I think it's a really great option to kind of, you know, because it's no commitment, right? So you don't have to have a subscription, and you just pay the payment processing fee. So it really is like, you can just try it and use it. And if you don't like it, you don't have to use it again. And if you like it, you can use it again. I kind of like it that it's no commitment, especially if you're starting something right now. So it's not a CRM. It's not a database. It's not Donor Perfect. It's not Razor's Edge. It's not Blackbaud. It's not Rallybound, Neon. It's not any of those. It is 100% crowdfunding. And you can customize all of these different things on the back end that I personally really like. So you have to claim your charity. Then you can actually sell tickets if that's what you want to do. And then I really like, what's the piece that I like? I like the fact that you can email your donors directly from the GoFundMe charity portal. So you don't have to go back through your database and figure out who donated and how do we thank them and do we get them a donation receipt. It's kind of all done on the back end of GoFundMe Charity. So that's personally what I like. And you can segment your fundraisers, the people fundraising for you, from your donors, and you can send them specific communications. I mean, they really try to make it very, very DIY, very self-service, and completely affordable and accessible for small organizations. So I do think it's worth checking out, but you might want to check out this toolkit that I put the bit.ly link in to the chat. You might want to check that out before checking that out. And like I said before, it looks like the rules now for the match are that you have to raise $1,000 on Giving Tuesday now on May 5th. But really look at the how do I get started? What do I do? How do I do this? Just go through the fine print when you're signing up, when you're looking on that page. Okay. All right. My library's raised about $230 and plan on continuing our campaign until we open. What percent of the proceeds would my library receive? I don't know if this is from Charity How To. If you're using Charity How To, not Charity How To, GoFundMe. Oh my Lord. Let me see. I want to go to the main page because it does the pricing. Hold on, solutions. Oh my goodness. There's definitely pricing somewhere. There we go. No subscription fees. So obviously the free plan, it's 1.9% plus 30. And then they actually ask your donors to make that tip. A lot of sites do that. I know Classy does that. CauseVox does that. They will ask your donor when they make the donation, do you want to donate an extra 2% to cover the fee? So it's not mandatory, but they do ask people to do that. So I don't know exactly the percentage and the proceeds, and you probably won't know that until the end, but that's definitely something that, you can kind of calculate based on the plan that you have. Okay, hold on a second. All right. How can I promote our mission and drive donations when our organization is not necessarily on the front lines of the pandemic response? This is one of my favorite questions. I was with Big Brothers Big Sisters Tampa Bay, so our mission is important, but I feel bad promoting our fundraisers when we're not providing food or healthcare or anything directly related to the pandemic. Will it be worth our time to do Giving Tuesday when the tradition? There's like 7 questions in there, so we're going to unpack it. Number 1, there's no such thing as a non-essential COVID charity. Do you need money? Do you need money? Then yes, you should be asking for money. Your supporters will support you. Maybe not 100% of them, but your donors believe in what you're doing. And I absolutely think if BBBS is Big Brothers, Big Sisters, teenagers are struggling right now. Young adults are struggling. They need their mentors. They need some semblance of normalcy. They need some consistency. You can't just like shut your doors and all of a sudden not run your program, because think about what that's going to do to the kids and the young adults and the teens that you're serving. So we need to stop this imposter syndrome, because we have it no matter when. We have it every single time around Christmas. Oh, well, I don't serve kids. I don't serve the poor. I don't serve the homeless. I don't serve cats. I don't serve kittens. No, we have to stop this. We have to stop this imposter syndrome. Your donors, your supporters, your corporate sponsors, they could give to anything in the world, any day of the week, and they have given to you. And they've raised their hand and said, we believe in your mission. So don't feel badly if you need the money to tell them why and to tell them what it's going to go to. I have seen appeals from museums, from libraries, from the community house down the street that does little theater, from preschools, all of which are closed right now, from zoos, from aquariums, from the Museum of Science. I'm just thinking of the appeals that I've been getting. They're all closed right now, but they all know that I have either supported them or in the past supported them, and their mission is still important and their mission is still vital, even though they're not on the front lines. So we have to stop saying we're not on the front lines, because the people that we serve are suffering. There's no one that's not touched by this. Not a single person not touched by this, at least in the United States in some way, and many, many other countries. So that's my little like pep talk for that. Secondly, I don't know if Giving Tuesday now will be worth it. Do you have the time to dedicate? Is it going to pull you away from other things? Do you think it's going to enhance what you're already doing, or is it just going to kind of drain you? So there's just no crystal ball that I can look into. I do know that just because it's Giving Tuesday now doesn't mean people are going to give. You still have to have a compelling reason. You still have to have a case statement. You still have to have a story. You still have to convince me that this is something I need to give to. So that's why Giving Tuesday, I think, doesn't work for a lot of people, because they think, oh, it's Giving Tuesday, everyone's going to give. But that's not the reason people give. It's just an excuse to ask, or it's leveraging, media attention and stuff like that. So I just think that I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell you, but if it's going to be a drain or overwhelm you, or if it's just kind of something thrown together at the last minute, then it might not work. But if you haven't asked for money until now, then I do recommend not going radio silent with your donors, because the dust is never going to settle. We can't just say, oh, the dust is going to settle, we're going to all go back to normal, everything's going to go back to the way it is or the way it was, because that's not going to happen. There's going to be a next normal, but we have no idea when that is. And if we're not raising money, if we're not asking for money, we're not going to get any money. So that's what I think. That was a long answer. All right. I'm new to fundraising for our nonprofit. Oh, I just can't read it from all the way over here. A large number of Korean American seniors in the Chicagoland area. We're still operating under limited hours. Currently, we've been pushing our campaign donations through GoFundMe Charity, our website, PayPal, newsletters. I'd like to hear feedback on our campaign and if we're a good fit for the match. I feel like there are a lot of moving parts, and factors like news and urgent needs are changing every day. Is it possible to keep a level of consistency in our messaging while being flexible at the same time? Oh my God, these questions, you guys. Can't you just ask something simple? Like, when is Giving Tuesday now? Oh my goodness, these questions. These are amazing questions, actually. These are questions that I want to write an entire book on. How do we sustain a long-term plan for our campaign when there's no determinate end to the pandemic? I wish that I had some of the answers to these questions. I'm just going to tell you what I think. So I don't know if you're a good match for Giving Tuesday matching, because you have to go to the website and figure all that out. You do have to have some kind of story about how your organization has been affected by COVID-19, but every single one of our organizations has been affected by it, so that there's not a hard sell there. But the only way to stay consistent with your messaging is just to make sure that it's consistent with your mission. So there's all sorts of ways that you could talk about what the pandemic is doing to these Korean American seniors. I'm thinking, like, I might be judging here, but are a lot of them new immigrants? Maybe they don't have family here. Maybe they don't speak English as well. Maybe they don't have access to services. They certainly aren't amongst a privileged group of people. I would say, like me, where I have a house, I have a great family around me, I'm employed, I have food. So trying to explain that just because we're in a pandemic doesn't mean that this group of people, their issues and their needs stop. We don't put a pause button on our mission. So we don't always need to be talking directly about COVID-19, but we do need to be talking about what's going on in our organizations right now and why it matters and what are the implications and what does the future look like. I really think that we need to operate like news organizations. We need to document what's happening. We can't just gloss over it and pretend it's not happening. Also thinking about sharing happy stories and nice stories and good stories, stories of kindness and empathy, stories of compassion. People really like to see that right now, but make sure that, it's mission focused. And how to sustain a long-term plan. I can't answer that. I can't. All we can do is go day to day to day. Every single day something changes. I can't tell you if you can have an event in September. I get asked that all the time. I can't say that. I could say what I think, which is hopefully, but I have no idea. So I think the real problem is for planners, and I am a planner, it's really challenging because we can't say for sure everything will go back to normal October 1st. We just can't. There might be another wave. Every state also is different. I know Chicago is getting hit really hard. Boston's getting hit really hard. New York. Every state is different. The way our local governments are handling it is all different. And anything could happen in the next 2 weeks. But say that to your donors. Say that. Say, we don't know what's going to happen in the next week, the next 2 weeks. But here's what we know. We're showing up. We're serving our community. We're serving them lunches. We're like curbside delivery, whatever we're doing to maintain social distance and keep them safe. This is what we're doing, and we're committed to doing it for as long as we need to. And we don't know what tomorrow brings, but we're going to come at it with an open mind, and we're going to come at it focused on our mission. Okay. How to encourage folks to participate in peer-to-peer fundraising in the wake of COVID. I think I talked a lot about messaging, having a really compelling case statement, and just talking to them about where the donations are going, what the donations mean. And, you know, every little bit counts. Every $10 counts. Every $5 counts. Because peer-to-peer fundraising, that's more like, you know, setting up a Facebook fundraiser or setting up a fundraiser and asking your friends and family for money. So just trying to convey that every little bit counts right now. Okay, and I'm definitely going to lose my voice. I'm gonna have some seltzer. You guys are quiet. Sometimes I feel like I'm talking into the void. Okay, let's see. I would like some direction on how to incorporate multiple platforms, fundraising page, Facebook, GoFundMe, along with our own match and Giving Tuesday. Well, I think you need one message, but you need to put it on all the platforms. So, and you do need to have one place where you're directing the most people, because they will get confused. They will get confused. But that doesn't mean that if someone wants to set up a Facebook fundraiser for you, that, you know, they can't. It just means you do have to focus your ask on one place and then set it up so they can donate to you on other platforms, because people want to donate how they want to donate. They're going to want to send you checks. They're going to call you with credit card numbers, all of that. So don't turn away money, but it is important to focus on one platform where you're directing people and have that kind of be your hub and have everything else be the spokes, and then have one overarching message. So how to incorporate multiple platforms of giving in marketing strategies. Well, I think having them available for people, but like I said before, really just promoting one of them and having that overarching consistent message for all of them. That's what works. And I do know on GoFundMe Charity, you can add donations not made on the site. So you can actually add donations to contribute towards your total so that people can see that as an update, which I think is pretty cool. I know you can't do that on Facebook. Okay. And then our two last questions, and then I see some in the chat. I see a comment in the chat. Okay, we don't have big success with online crowdfunding. We used to rely mostly on our large donors, which I think is good. How to leverage our network to get more participation in our online campaigns. What's the best way to promote our needs? Now listen, now you are going to get told by major gift fundraisers not to do online crowdfunding at all and to focus on your large donors. So I think you do need to spend some time, if you have a major gifts program and you have large donors, definitely focus on your large donors. And then with online fundraising, I think the real potential is to reach a critical mass of people and get more people excited. But you're not going to get those huge, large donations the same way you are. Not right now anyway, because people are not giving that way. I do think that it's important to, you know, understand where your audience is and where your donors are. And we have to understand that we are engaging with 5 distinct generations of donors. So we can't just rely on the boomers and the matures, but we can't put all our efforts into Gen Z. We have to really spend a lot of time focused on each generation. And that's challenging because there's no one way to do it. There's no just like, oh, direct mail. There's no events anymore. Maybe a portion will come in through online fundraising. A portion will come in through our newsletter. A portion will come in through our virtual gala. Another portion through our auction. I think just really figuring out where the growth area is, like what's the most potential for growth and what seems to be growing for you year after year. But also knowing that, online and social donors are different. They're very fickle. Boomers and matures, they give to causes because it's what their parents did and it's their alma mater and the hospital and it's organizations that they've given to for years and years and years and they trust. With younger people, it's much more like the heart and the gut and what's in the news. And that's just important for us to know. So making your cause always be relevant and timely, like every single cause is relevant to someone and timely, because otherwise, why would you be around doing what you do? So thinking about how you can make your cause just really timely and relevant and interesting and fun. And we have to, break out of our box of not wanting to offend people, and not wanting to be provocative and not wanting to be funny and not wanting to be interesting. So we have to change the way we do things a little bit. For Facebook, I don't know if you have the Facebook donate button, but really the only way to raise money on Facebook right now is with the donate button, because Facebook will not promote or show as many people a link to an outside website. So if you do have charity GoFundMe and you post about it on your Facebook page, not as many people are going to see it because Facebook is a business and they want you to stay on their site and they promote their internal charitable giving tools. And they'd rather have people donate through Facebook than go to an outside website and then not come back to Facebook. So there's also a lot of strategies around Facebook fundraising. The money that's brought in is not from the nonprofits. It's from the individuals donating their birthdays and raising money. So you're never going to raise as much money as you would if you convinced some donors and staff and volunteer, whoever, if you convinced a network of people to raise money for you. That's where the money is in Facebook. So I think people think we can just turn on these tools and all of a sudden it's like a money spigot or an ATM machine or something like that, but it's definitely not. You have to really cultivate a connected community of people that are willing to go to bat for you. And it takes a lot of time and effort to do that. There's no silver bullet and there's no shortcut at all. How do you get the donate button? That is with the charity verification. Yes. And I wish I had an example of it. And I might have some of it in the toolkit. Hold on one second. No, this is a different, I don't know. So yes, you have to get verified as a charity, and then you can add the donate button to your website and go through a whole rigmarole. I believe you have to talk to somebody about it. It's not as easy as setting up the campaigns that we've been seeing, but it's a feature. It's a feature that they have. And I wish I'm going to show you an example because it's 5:35. So the slides from the webinar that I did. Oh man. Oh yeah, here we go. It will have an example at the end. Okay, so I want to show you what it looks like. Okay. The donate button. There you go. This is actually a really great website. So that's what it looks like. So pretty simple, but yeah, you do have to be registered as a charity to get the donate button and a lot of the other features too. So you can raise money for a tournament. The DIY one is the one that we've been talking about, the crowdfunding. Team fundraising is like the Boston Marathon has teams that raise money for them and they all compete. And then gala fundraising. So actually I'll show you the gala one because it's pretty good. But this is from last year, so this was an in-person. This was an in-person gala. Donate, join, share. And you can actually customize the way that these pages look. as well. Wait, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, the donate button on Facebook, Nara? That's something totally different. So that's something completely different. So you need to go to get the Facebook donate button. You need to go to facebook.com/donate/sign-up and do the charity verification there. So I don't know, but there's frequently asked questions. Contact us if it's not working. Is any 501c3 a charity? Well, you do have to have a 501c3 number to be verified through Facebook and through charity.GoFundMe, which are two completely separate. They're two completely separate entities. Oh, okay. Messed up with the calendar to enter our ED's birth date. I don't know, Nara. That looks like a technical problem with Facebook. So yeah, I would try to either contact them in their chat or just, cancel that submission and try to submit again. I really don't know. Pilar says, we created a virtual tour for our museum to keep folks engaged. The tour is free for members with $10 for non-members. With that, we're asking folks to participate in Giving Tuesday now, and their donation of any size will not only give them access to the tour, but also help us reopen when it is safe. I think that sounds perfect. A museum where I live, like I said, the Wenham Museum, see what they're doing. They are doing Facebook Lives, and they're asking for like a $5 suggested donation. Where are their Facebook Lives? They were doing a big fundraiser. It might have been a while ago. Yeah, make a donation, renew or buy our membership. So there are lots of non-COVID charities asking for money, sharing great information. I actually like the toilet paper tube snake. I wanted to do that. But they did a Facebook Live where they had Elsa or Snow White or Elsa or both. And they asked for donations during this Facebook Live. So let me see. They asked for donations when they sent out the email. So I don't think they asked for donations during the Facebook Live, which I wish they would have done. But they did in the email that they sent out. Because I remember getting it and saying, wow, I thought that's a really good idea. So people can donate if they get a lot of value through the content. Or, if it doesn't, it's not mandatory. Obviously, you can watch the Facebook Live. Facebook Lives can't be gated. Although I just read this today, Facebook is adding the option to charge for access to live streams. That is huge. Especially if you're a museum or if you are an opera house or a ballet or any kind of theater group or music group, that's huge because you can then start charging for people to watch performances, even if it's $5, $10, whatever it is. So this I will also put in the chat, but just go to The Verge or just Google Facebook charging for live streams. They're starting to create that ability because they really understand the impact of COVID-19 on creators. And they want them to be able to monetize the great stuff that they do. And they want to make it easy, for all of you to be raising money as well. Okay, so one last question. Cheryl says, what's the funding mechanism used for payments? I don't know if you're talking about Facebook or you're talking about GoFundMe. GoFundMe uses WePay. So you do have to register with WePay. Where's my toolkit? You do have to register with WePay. There's no way I can find anything that I was just doing. But let's see, charity, GoFundMe. There is a whole thing in the help section about it. If you are, I'm assuming you're talking about GoFundMe Charity. If you're talking about Facebook, they use Network for Good, but then they also just use their own Facebook processor. So help processor. yeah, moving to WePay. This is if you want to switch over. If you already have PayPal, you want to use GoFundMe Charity. They just use WePay for their funding mechanism. But I do really, really recommend looking through the GoFundMe help section. It is so robust and has so much great advice. And it goes so far into the weeds, way more into the weeds than I even know with developers. But there's Giving Tuesday now, frequently asked questions. When will my charity receive the grant? How does it work? You know, blah, blah, blah. How do I make my campaign successful? All of that stuff. So make sure that you go to the website, look in the help section for whatever you are searching for, because they really do have a robust section. They are on the West Coast. So if you want to contact them, this is probably a really good time. But if you do try to contact them in the morning, I have found some of my clients haven't gotten an answer for a little while just because they're on the West Coast. So, all right. Well, I'm going to close up because I'm exhausted, but thank you so much for your questions. I hope I answered all of them. And I'm going to be doing more of these hopefully in the coming months. And I'm always doing free webinars. A great place to reach me is in the social media storytelling group. If some of you are members, I'll send you that link, and I'll also send you the recording of these office hours and any of the links that we talked about so that you can refer to them there. So have a fantastic rest of your day. I was just going to say happy Thursday, but I know it's only Wednesday. Have a great Wednesday, and I will hope to see you all soon. Take care.